In the shadow of downtown New Orleans,
The wall and the fence is not to keep those people in, it's to keep people like y'all out.
Orleans Parish Prison, called OPP by the locals. Why do they want to keep us out?
Because nobody wants you to know what's going on inside these places.
Experts hired by the U.S. Justice Department call this the most dangerous jail in America. Thanks for having us. Let's head on in, huh? America Tonight takes a rare look inside. Until now, few cameras have been allowed behind these barbed wire fences.
They beat me up. I got hitches on my head. I got bruises on me. I swear to God, let them know.
Violence here, an everyday event. So these tents were built after Katrina.
After Katrina.
And how many are there?
8.
And how many inmates are held in each one of these?
88
88 per tent.
per tent.
So you got a lot of guys housed right in this little area.
709 is the max. 609 is the count for the day.
The state of Louisiana has the highest incarceration rate in the entire country, twice the U.S. average. 38,000 people come through OPP every year. Some do not survive. According to federal investigators, 40 inmates have died here since 2006, 25 prisoners hospitalized every month. The jail had 698 prisoner assaults last year, including 32 stabbings. This photo shows the aftermath of a recent stabbing in the jail. The sheriff's office issued a statement that a prisoner received, quote, superficial cuts. In this crowded dorm full of bunks, 2 guards are on duty. Now, who's watching the inmates while you guys are in here? From way up there. Horror stories here are abundant, documented in federal lawsuits. Darrell Richard, a low-level drug offender who was just released, says he was sexually assaulted at OPP.
Early one morning, the tier rep.
This is like another inmate.
Yes, it's an inmate. He woke me up early in the morning and told me to get in the shower. And by him saying that, like, that was pretty much like, you have to do what he says. So I was pretty much forced to get up and get in the shower. After I get in the shower, I noticed that he has a shank. He takes it and he places it by the entrance of the shower as, I guess, a warning to me, like if I didn't comply with what he was saying, that I would be stabbed.
Richard is one of 100 former prisoners who testified in what became a class action lawsuit on behalf of all prisoners at OPP. It was filed by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Then the U.S. Justice Department joined the lawsuit, charging violent, inhumane prison conditions, excessive use of force, deprivation of mental health care, and inadequate suicide prevention policies.
I witnessed like an inmate performing oral sex on a lot of the guys on that tier, and another inmate who was definitely schizophrenic get drugged down the tier and have a broomstick shoved up his rectum.
Look, they can spin some great stories. We investigate every single allegation.
Sheriff Marlon Gussman runs the prison. Elected as a reformer and the city's first black sheriff, some local officials say he's now part of the problem. Gussman says the allegations of danger and neglect are overstated. 40 deaths inside this prison since 2006. Right?
Well, yes and no. They would have you think that these are all deaths that are related to some sort of violence. There's only been one death to violence since I've been sheriff. You have groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center that twist the truth for their own purposes to make people like you and your audience think that when they look at a number like that, that's somehow wrong.
But U.S. Justice Department statistics show the mortality rate for prisoners here at OPP is among the highest in the U.S.
ACLU investigating, they told them it's closed down. Nobody ain't holding no inmates. Why we in here? Why we in here?
Right.
Earlier this year, public outrage grew when this video, filmed by a prisoner, was released to the media. One prisoner is filmed coming and going at will.
Y'all know I'm supposed to be in jail right now.
Yeah.
Behind bars, inmates not only showed off drugs they had in their prison cell, but somehow they obtained a handgun, defiantly waving it around for the camera. The laundry list of problems at OPP has led to a number of protests.
OPP has been and continues to be a house of horrors.
The kind of essentially caretaker salaries that we're paying to jail people, we could actually be paying in their communities that would be useful.
New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu wants Sheriff Gussman out.
Some of the elected officials in this town have been highly critical of you. How you handling? You want me to name some names? The mayor?
Yeah, well, you know, the mayor has his own agenda, and I'm not going to get into that, what his agenda is, but I have a record of public service to this community.
Has the jail been politicized?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, why are you being criticized?
Well, I think this is a tough job, and I think when someone stumbles, you know, that's usually some people's opportunity to take a hit at them. And we've had some stumbles, there's no doubt about it.
Earlier this year, Sheriff Gussman and federal officials resolved the lawsuit and reached a sweeping agreement to reform OPP. The settlement calls for new procedures to prevent violence by staff and prisoners, mental health reforms, improvements to health care, and more.
So, intake and processing center.
The federal government is also pumping $145 million into the jail by paying for the state-of-the-art building. Sheriff Gussman says the new facility will fix many of the problems. But reformers say the jail still won't have proper medical and mental health facilities. They also take issue with the size of the new OPP. It'll still house 3 times as many prisoners per capita as the U.S. average.
So this is where the security will be.
This is where the deputy would be right here.
Okay.
And then there would be additional security behind them here.
Norris Henderson is skeptical. He spent 27 years behind bars. Since his release, he's been a leading advocate for prison reform.
The conditions inside this jail has been like this for, I would venture to say, the last 30 years, 35 years. The minute people start being prosecuted, being sued, and litigated against because of the conditions in the jail, that's when all the attention comes.
Who do you blame for all this?
I blame this administration, the sheriff. I blame this mayor. I blame the previous sheriff. I blame the previous mayor and the city councils because everybody has turned a deaf ear to this. And to the sheriff's credit, he inherited, you know, a bad situation, but he hasn't made it any better either.
New Orleans has the 3rd highest murder rate in the U.S. In some neighborhoods, violent crime is part of everyday life.
This is a public safety problem because when people come out of jail who've been misused and abused, you know, that person is in a bad place.
If they really make a genuine effort and they fix this jail, how will that improve the overall city of New Orleans?
Completely. A lot of the problems that we're having in the city stems from the jail and vice versa.
Louisiana's high incarceration rate disproportionately affects African Americans. In New Orleans, 1 out of 7 black males are either locked up, on probation, or on parole.
We are just starting to have a conversation in this city, literally in this state, about alternatives to incarceration.
Yeah.
Incarceration was the panacea for everything that went wrong. I'll just lock him up in the jail.
Sheriff Gussman says he is still a reformer, while he presides over a jail that many see as a symbol of everything wrong in New Orleans.
It is, in some respects, a contradiction in terms that someone who is a champion of individual rights and freedoms is also responsible for the incarceration. But, you know, that's part of what we have to do.
Are you hopeful for the day that this facility is too big?
I'm hopeful for the day when we have very few people in here, and the smaller the facility, the better we're going to be as people.
We have to take a real hard look at when we have this cry for law and order, what that looks like, you know, and what the collateral damage that it does to an overall community. And just stand right there on the front of the stairs by the courthouse and watch the traffic that flows through there. And ask yourself, do we literally have bad boys or do we have a bad system?